There are like three names I have, all three overseas outside
So,
of the Indians, if you want. Again, if one is the Afghanistan opener,
Ramon
Atal.
Gurbaz.
Lagobar.
No,
Not
the
Gurbaaz.
newcomer. I'm talking totally now fresh face. There's this
Do you at
guy,
least
his
know his
name is
name?
Sedatullah
If you're
Attar.
mentioning him, can you tell us his name at least?
Yeah, I think he will. Ek minute rukna.
Just check your messages from Naira, Nagraj. Just search for
Sedi,
Naira on your phone.
player number 230, Sadiqullah Attal, Afghanistan. That's one.
Nagaraj, this is not the way to come prepared for a wild card. I'm just letting you know. Okay. Yeah.
I will be honest. Like I said, I did not expect the wildcard thing. I was prepared for the other
But then
two,
you
but
don't need
not
to
this
say
one.
it. It's okay.
अरे confession क्या जाता है?
Okay.
झूठ तो नहीं
Fine.
बोल सकते ना?
Any other names?
I'm not sitting at the auction table, so I'm okay with that.
I'm also very curious to see what Naveen Ul Haq goes for. I think underrated and very skillful
Yeah.
in
Very good bowler. Yeah. I mean, I
So-
would love to, but I'm just looking at fresh faces. That's what.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at Afghan players that I've seen and I know their names. Dustin. Welcome to Chatter. Once again, we're nearing the end game. The date is finally upon us, the auction. So this might be the last bunch of Chatter episodes you get to consume. And thank you so much for all the abuse you've sent our way. Now, you are going to have your hands full because we are going to pick the top 5 overseas players. Just have some fun over here. Who do we think is going to have the best payday from an overseas standpoint? We know the marquee sets. We know all the overseas players that have registered and the ones that have also been withdrawn. So Nagraj, Dustin, and Adi will do the needful. The way I'm going to go about this, guys, first give me your top 5. Each of you give me your top 5 and then we'll deliberate and we'll come to a price for each of us to see who gets more right and who gets nothing right. Dustin.
Okay, so Joss Buttler, number 1.
Mhm.
Number 2 is JFM, Jake Fraser McGurk.
Wow,
number
that's
3,
a biggie.
Number
Great
3,
call.
Glenn Maxwell. Number 4, Mitch Starc.
Mhm.
And number 5 is my wild card, I'll say Sam Curran.
Okay,
That's
it's
not a
such
wild card. That's not a wild card, Dustin.
Yeah, you whatever opinions you have on Sam Curran,
What
he
is talking
certainly
about
has.
Sam Curran?
He
He sent
certainly has
number
been high
14.
regard by auctions, by
Yeah.
franchises. Okay,
Okay.
we'll come to that. Opinions after. Adi, your 5.
Okay, Joss Buttler,
Haan.
Mitchell Starc,
Hmm.
Kagiso Rabada,
Okay.
Liam Livingstone,
Okay.
and Lachlan Ferguson, Lucky Ferguson.
Lachlan Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
Just for that. That might be the more unusual way of saying a highly unusual top 5 pick. Okay. Nagraj Golapudi, all yours.
Salt first. Stark 2. Livy 3.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe, yeah, Livy 3. Yeah. Maxwell
Okay. And
and JFM.
I will go Buttler. I'm actually got a lot of left field picks in this. I'm going to go Will Jacks, Livingstone, Starc,
England.
Stoinis.
So Adi has gone for a lot of bowlers, and the rest
Yeah.
of us have gone for mainly batters. I think that's because what we saw last season is with the way the IPL is going with the impact player, sometimes bowlers are almost superfluous. It doesn't matter who's bowling. They just tend to get thrashed, and it's batters who can strike at a really fast rate who are making the difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Dustin, to your point, it was basically the couple of close, that 280, 270 games that SRH won, or for the matter, KKR's playoffs, were all defined by Pat Cummins and
Bowlers.
Mitchell Starc. That 287 game, if Cummins hadn't bowled those 2 overs, I don't think SRH would have won. So
Yeah, but apart from Bumrah, which bowler was able to consistently do that through the tournament where their overs were the ones not going for runs? Almost every bowler went for runs in one game or the other. You can't really say that this particular bowler guarantees me 4 overs for 35 runs. Even a mid-Stark doesn't do that.
I'm sure any franchise is happy if the bowler can win them 4 games.
Yeah, I think
Three
the
games.
question here right now is not necessary. Like this is, I think, a different debate here.
Yeah, sorry.
This is about the price point in the auction, which has nothing to do necessarily with how good a certain set of bowlers might be. You might get a lot of fast bowlers that most franchises value between, say, 8 and 10 or 9 and
Yeah.
12. And then the likes of a Ferguson or a Nokia or Rabada or even Naveen Ul Haq, they all fall in that bracket and they'll all be valuable. But what is the kind of player that franchises are willing to break the bank for, and therefore will be an overseas pick. Adi still thinks the likes of Lockie Ferguson and Rabada are in that, which is great. Good on him. But yeah, I think we've seen also, judging by the spending patterns of franchises, they invest a lot in the gun player who's won you IPL games, who's proven under IPL, and just Buttler, Maxwell. I don't have Maxwell, but those are the kind of players that franchises just love. I don't agree with all of it, but they really have a liking for them. Sam Curran's another.
So I felt that when I looked at the numbers, Butler, as good as he is, no doubt, longevity, and he offers. He's also a keeper batter. Salt and JFM stand out. JFM is okay. He's only 1 season old, so he's still
That was what I was going to ask you. We have seen the second season.
But I think the people who have seen him, the coaches just believe that this is a freak. And sometimes, I mean, Maxwell also is that kind of a breed, right? That only Maxwell can do what Maxwell can do. But if he does it for two.
Has he not had the greatest sort of international returns of late?
No, I know. If you're talking about JFM, he's not had in terms of his recent numbers, they were pretty weak. But what he did at last IPL, he showed that he's capable of doing something which is stunning. And the other guy who really stands out is Salt. That's why I felt, for me, Salt is my top buy. I feel he might become the most expensive guy. And he's already shown at KKR what he did with Narayan last year. He was equally one of the most valuable
And he
kind of
keeps
a players.
wickets.
He keeps wickets. He's form. I mean, again a long-term buy. So that's why I felt these are the character of the buys which I've looked at are like aggressive batters in their roles.
Okay,
let's talk auction. Let's talk auction dynamics also, because the one reason I went for Butler and JFM ahead of Salt is because they come earlier in the auction. So will teams hold back and say, okay, we won't get a Butler or a JFM, banking on the fact that we'll get Phil Salt who comes in set 5? That is the question, right? Because if you need that kind of opener, you might just say, okay, Butler and JFM are coming up, let's get them. And then you might not have as many teams going after Salt in set 5. That was my one sort of, reason why I didn't have Salt in my top 5.
Can you imagine an auction where Butler goes to XYZ franchise at 7 crore?
I can definitely imagine that.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. The minute that happens, I've seen how the franchise dynamic, you come with a certain plan, but you just say, there's no way we're sending Butler to, say, for the lack of better example, Butler goes to CSK, 7 crore. Butler goes to, Punjab, 7. They've got 110. No way that Punjab should be spending 7 for Butler. And suddenly, things change. I just can't help but think franchises will still find value in the proven IPL player who's still got 3 years in him. And I think Jake Fraser-McGurk, as good as he is, as promising as he is, I think teams will come better prepared for him. Wherever he goes, he won't find it as easy. I'm applying the Maxwell principle to Will Jacks. That's all.
Sorry, Maxwell. Law of Maxwell only applies to Law.
He's
You almost nailed that. You almost nailed that line. Yeah, Law of Maxi applies to Maxi. I'm saying Law of Maxi will apply to Jacks. Just a hunch.
Maxwell's base price should not be 2 crores. It should be like some 8 crores or something starting price.
Jacks, by the way, is in set number 24. So you're banking on at least a couple or 3 teams having a big purse still left by that time, which is
there are quite a few franchises that can afford to come to the auction 2 hours late, also 1 hour late, because they're not going to be doing a lot in that time.
And remember MI waited did the Ishan Kishan deal in 22 and didn't do anything else till the next day. But of course, that was because of the purse pressure, because they didn't have much money left.
And they went the other way around also. I think the next auction they bought Cam Green and then said thank you.
Let's just wrap it up with some numbers, shall we? Dustin, you seem to always have the numbers ready, so fire away. Butler,
I've said 18 crores.
JFM,
17.
Maxwell,
16.5. Starc, 15.5. Sam Curran, 15.
It's so easy to say these numbers when you're not spending a penny out of your own pocket. It's so much fun, isn't it? It's awesome. Okay, who gives right? Adi.
My number 1 was Butler, right?
Yeah.
Butler is about 15.5.
Okay.
The number 2 would be Kagiso Rabada at about 13.5. Next would be Lockie Ferguson around the same margin, about 12 to 12.5, 13. Number 4 is going to be Phil Salt, 12. and it's going to be Sam Curran. It's very difficult to nail prices.
One second.
overseas.
So you've conveniently swapped two. You remove Ferguson also now.
No, I did. I said Ferguson, number 3.
Yeah, he said 12.5 for Lockie.
Or I didn't say Lachlan.
1 second. You said Buttler, Rabada, then you said Livingstone, didn't you?
Oh shit. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, Ferguson or Livingstone. Adi, you are disqualified from this round. And to think you're the only one who sat on an auction table between us. Then you wonder what happened
So
that season.
people who sit in the table keep changing all the time. That's the.
Yeah. Very good. Very good, Adi. Very good. Okay, Nagaraj.
I might have a joint too, but let me go anyway. Salt, I think 15. Starc, since I've already given number 2, but I'll still go 15.
Where are you taking all this money and going, Nagaraj Golapudi? You're saying 15.
You got to see, boss. Accelerated lot has a lot of players I need to buy.
Oh,
You're not understanding. All
sorry.
the lower lots are where I build my team. So I can't be spending money. Anyway, listen to me, please.
15 and 15. Okay, then.
Yeah, I mean, those Starc, I think, might end up being 16 types also. But if, anyway, Livingstone.
What my paper
13,
looks like. Yeah.
Livingstone 13. Maxwell 12, JFM 10.
Very
You guys are lowballing all these players, man. I mean, there are 10 teams in the top
Nagaraj is
10.
giving us the after TDS and all kind numbers. He's just,
There are at least 5 teams that can afford an 18 crore plus player.
Go for it, Dustin. Oh, that's what you've already said.
I've already said, but anyway.
Okay, I'm going to go Josh Buttler, 18.5. Will Jack surprisingly at number 2 at 16.5. Livingstone 16. Starc 16. Stoinis 15.
Stoinis is a good call. I like it.
I'll be very happy if Stoinis gets 15, but I don't think he's.
Stoinis is a very, I think he did himself a world of good with the kind of season he had last year.
Yeah.
In some tough innings, valuable, flexible, fit, can bowl. I know a lot of people don't rate Stoinis and they think that, but you have to look at the set of overseas all-rounders who have IPL experience. And I think Stoinis is in a pretty small club over there. I thought there was a strong case for them to consider retaining Stoinis, but perhaps the price point at 18, which would have been pushed had he been retained, might have come in the way for LSG. So yeah, I see Stoinis having a pretty good payday. I also know quite a few coaches rate him very highly, and we still have that as a big factor. Coaches like players who they are used to working with, who bring a certain ethic to the dressing room, and Stoinis is one of those guys like.
And he's pretty versatile. Very, very versatile.
2 Australian coaches with big money to spend.
All right. Any wildcards being thrown out there for someone who we've not spoken? I don't know. I thought Noor Ahmed might actually have a good auction, but I don't think he's going to crack double digits. Same can be said for a few others. Hasaranga is watching this and thinking.
Yeah, I was actually looking at Noor Ahmed's batting stats, hoping that he had done something with the bat, which would have maybe pushed him across the line. But he has a Daryl Mitchell coming later in the auction, went for big money last time. Still has the skill set for the IPL. I don't think he'll be top 5 or maybe even top 10, but I think it'll be a decent payday.
Okay, cool. I think we can wrap it. Adi, anything from you, buddy?
Hey, if you look at the third loss, there's one name which all of us have conveniently missed, which is Harry Brook. Nobody's even talking about Harry Brook.
Nobody's conveniently
Yeah, but he comes in a set. I'm not sure about.
Why don't you tell me about Harry Brook?
No, I'm saying if you look at that lot is basically where you build. It's just filled with a lot of very important players. I think some team is going to press the panic button and then they're going to go big on David Warner.
On David Warner?
Yeah.
There's another name you haven't mentioned. Yeah, we did a lineup earlier today, which will be out on ESPNcricinfo if it isn't already. And there I've also said Faf du Plessis might surprise us with a little more money than we think, perceive him to go for as a retired international. But yeah, I think Faf's another one over there who might surprise us, but I don't think he's breaking double digits. He'll probably be the highest single figures.
What about Jacob Bethel?
If he comes.
Thank you very much, everybody. This has wrapped up our episode. What? I'm just saying it's now let's put Steve Smith there. Jimmy Anderson, anyone?
Let's start naming random players.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is getting silly now. Stupid boys. Thank you. This is ESPNcricinfo Chatter.